With Fortnite's recent update adding in the boom bow, alongside that, excavation began in the center of Dusty Divot, filled with rocks which could be broken by everyone of the community playing Fortnite. Within less than 24 hours in the early hours of the morning, all of the rocks were broken, and with the breaking of the final rock, something crazy happened. Alongside that, more excavation sites are due to pop up around the map with more secrets to be buried up. We're going to be discussing all of it right here in this video. That's right, guys, welcome. Things are getting juicy, and oh boy is this Dusty Divot excavation site turning into something crazy. If you're new around here, hit subscribe to get the latest Fortnite news and gameplay right here on the channel. Give it a thumbs up if you're excited for the craziness that is about to unfold, and get ready for a load of Fortnite information as Season 8 and the storyline behind it is starting to unfold as we slowly work our way towards the big story, which will ultimately lead to the start of Season 9. All of this kicked off, as we know, with the helicopter, which entered the world within the beginning of Season 8, starting up in the northern area, did a full rotation clockwise around the map, and ultimately landed in the center of the map on the mountain, next to a telescope that was already on the mountain, looking down at Dusty Divot. This helicopter has been our first clue as to the story for Season 8, and it was actually going to watch and unfold the craziness of the excavation site here in Dusty Divot. Now, we've had the first excavation site, which we're going to go back to and talk a little bit more because there's more secrets uncovered and hidden within that. But this second one, the biggest one so far, did something that has blown all of our minds once it was fully unearthed. So with the release of the update yesterday, in less than 12 hours time, less than half a day, it was completely emptied. And the thing is, this was meant to be one of the best loot spots in the game. For those of you guys that didn't know, within the rocks in the excavation site, once they ultimately get broken by the community, I mean, these rocks have hundreds of millions of health, but get broken so quickly by everyone chipping away at them, they actually reveal things inside them, such as chests, hidden items, and little objects actually hinting at the story and exactly what is going on. Now, the rocks, as they were slowly being broken away, weren't just revealing one chest or two chests. In fact, this image here is showing actually the complete emptiness of the actual excavation site in a glitched replay mode. It's not great quality, but you can see just how many chests can possibly spawn if every single chest spawn was to work in this area. However, although we thought this is going to be an amazing spot to land and get loads of chests, that is not quite the case, unfortunately. Because late last night, in the early hours of the morning, as the final rock was struck and the health was depleted, not only did all of the rocks disappear, oh no, a rumble happened, a slight tremor, and from the bottom of the excavation site, lava started to rise and has risen all the way to the top of where the burying, the excavating, the digging has started, and has actually filled the area of excavation in the center of Dusty Divot. It is insane. However, this is only the beginning. We have more excavation sites to come, more storylines and secrets to take a look at, and this isn't being talked about anywhere else, guys, so stay tuned right here. The first thing to talk about is the linking of the helicopter themselves to the excavation site diggers and more. The actual logo that has been used and was first seen originally back when the actual meteor struck right here in Dusty Divot all the way at the beginning of Season 4, which is when the helicopter was very originally seen, has only reappeared now since Season 8, is that big yellow circle logo, often referred to as the government. These are the people that have always been researching, looking into, and basically covering the whole of the Fortnite map for any unusual activity, and have since returned, and with now all of these excavation sites popping up, more unusual activity has since started to happen. This logo not only appeared on the original vans that moved all of the hot rocks which were introduced in Season 4 all the way back in the day, but also appear now on the helicopter that is currently circling and has been moving around the map, but also on the excavation diggers themselves, linking them all together and confirming that all of this activity is being done by that single group called the government. That's the first thing that links it back to an old season within Fortnite. However, at the bottom of the very first excavation site is something that no one is talking about. It is, in fact, the bones. These bones actually originate all the way back again to Season 4, being an actual teaser for the start of Season 5. These bones appeared out of a rift leading up to the beginning of Season 5 in what was originally the Moisty Mire before it got transformed and turned into Paradise Palms. These bones have now reappeared in that first excavation site, and the digging stopped once it got to that level, which means that is what they were looking for. An old, almost archaeological item, which has only been linked back in seasons and seasons ago, but the government wanted to find it. During that same period, all of those seasons ago, a few other items popped up as well, including an old school Wild West carriage, which still sits actually in Paradise Palms, and also an old anchor, which ultimately hinted at the arrival of Vikings Village. However, in the bottom of the actual Dusty Divot excavation site, before it was filled with lava, a similar type of anchor was also found at the bottom, also potentially linking in with all of these old seasonal items, which most people have probably forgotten about. The most obvious one, which we actually discovered yesterday very quickly, was parts of the meteor itself, which is no doubt the ultimate goal for this excavation site right here in the middle of Dusty Divot, because it is where the biggest part of the meteor actually landed in. But as soon as it reached that bottom point with the lava starting to rise, what is ultimately going to happen to Dusty Divot, and what's going to happen with even more excavation sites as they start popping up? In-game file leakers have hinted and found files that could suggest a third digging site appearing near Loot Lake, meaning that the government are not finished with their excavation and are not finished with their research and their hunting for whatever they're looking for. What seems to be old items that they want to dig up and research again, which means they've got even more hunting and even more old school Fortnite items hidden under the map within the world of Fortnite. One weird object that has been found in the in-game files underneath the surface is a small shaped cube, which obviously links in with the giant cube that took up so many of the map for so many seasons and ultimately exploded and disappeared and left us with what is now the empty Loot Lake. So potentially the next excavation site is going to be researching the old cube as well. But why now are they taking such an interest in things that happened so long ago? Why do they want to find all of these old school items? The initial research seemed to start on the new volcano with that introduction in Season 8. That seems to have triggered something within their research that has caused them to dig deeper into the earth, into the ground, to dig up all of these old items. However, returning to Dusty Divot with the lava that has appeared, there's a bigger theory here, and that is the filling of Dusty Divot, the rising of the lava level within Dusty Divot, potentially covering it completely, filling it with lava, which could ultimately then cool down, turn back into rock, and fill up Dusty Divot, returning it no longer to an old crater all the way since Season 4, but actually turning it into a fully fledged, covered up, completely now gone version of Dusty Divot that we have not seen in over 5 seasons. With last week's lava mode being added into the world of Fortnite, clearly this is an ongoing theme and something that Fortnite will be working with more throughout Season 8. And this is the first time we've seen additional lava pop up since the beginning of the season, but who's to say that more lava won't start popping up in different places around the map, which are ultimately at a low ground level. The volcano itself will surely have more activity and potentially spew out more lava itself, but all other areas of the map with low ground level could also start to see lava popping up and flowing from the lower levels of it as well, ultimately completely changing the surface, the structure, and the landscape of the Fortnite map throughout the season as well. With Dusty Divot being super low down and lava starting to rise from it as well, and the next excavation site being found near Loot Lake, what if Loot Lake also starts to have lava rising from it as well, also being a low indented part of the map, this too could potentially in the future be covered in lava as well. Absolutely love how we as a community have to get involved with all of these excavation and digging sites before anything can actually progress. And as more pops up, as soon as it happens, I'm covering it right here first on the channel. Do not worry. For the moment, if you're playing Fortnite and you see any unusual activity, if you see any helicopter movement, if you see any new excavators, if you see anything that can be interacted with and you can actually help change how the Fortnite map is evolving, let me know. Post it and share it with your friends, because as soon as these things happen, we've got to find out and we've got to see what Fortnite are doing next. Keep an eye on that Dusty Divot lava level, and who knows, over the next few days, weeks, it could start rising and could potentially fulfill the theory of completely filling up Dusty Divot. Things are crazy right now, lava popping up, old school Fortnite items appearing out of nowhere. Things are changing and they're changing quick, and the government are clearly scheming, clearly up to something. At the moment, it doesn't all piece together, but soon I'm sure it will, and I can't wait to find out what is going on. Guys, leave your theories down below in the comment section. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed all the information in this video. It is so crazy to see all of this unfold. I can't wait to see what happens next. Stay tuned here on the channel to see. Check out more Fortnite videos to see that brand new boom bow in action, which came out yesterday. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, as always, with another video. Goodbye.